Hello, my name is Andy and I am the Village Idiot. I'm armed with a car and a GoPro and an unhealthy amount of time on my hands. I'm using that time to attempt to visit every civil parish in England. You're watching the Rushcliffe series. This is the southernmost district in Nottinghamshire and it contains 59 civil parishes of England. And there's some corkers down here. Let's dive in and check one out. Welcome back to Rushcliffe again, people, and behind me you can see there a farm building with the name W B Stubbs written upon it. Now Stubbs is a very important name in this village. We'll find out why as we take a short walk through the parish of Hawksworth. Here's my disclaimer for people who may be watching me for the first time. I say things as I would in my native accent and dialect. As a result, I may not pronounce things in the same way as the locals do. Remember, I'm a visitor. It's impossible to know everything. Leave me a comment, spin me a like and bash that subscribe button. Let's get to today's parish video. Hawksworth, Hawks Enclosure. This week in Rushcliffe we're in a place called Hawksworth, which sits on an almost dead straight road between Scarrington and Sibthorpe. Characterised by rich arable farmland on pretty much all sides, Hawksworth Parish has just the one area of settlement, and that's the village of the same name. A linear settlement, this walk only took me 20 minutes from end to end, but whilst most people will just drive through it and not think twice about it, Hawksworth has more than its fair share of things that should be highlighted. The 6 listed buildings here, which are all in or around Town Street, include Hawksworth Place, which had a pretty important role during World War II. The beautiful Manor House, also listed, is also worth a look. It's the oldest residence in the village, dating back to the mid-17th century. Since 1836, Hawksworth has been synonymous with the name W B Stubbs. Founded by a local blacksmith, it still has a key role to play in the area today, especially if you own or manage a stable. Hawksworth was also the birthplace of the Conservative MP George Storer in 1814. As a village, it doesn't have a great deal. There's a church, but all of its other amenities and services have long since disappeared. However, here we will do what we always do, put them all on the map. Let's go. We begin our walk through Hawksworth at its far southwestern tip and we'll be working our way northwards along Main Road. It's a linear village and the main road through is dead straight. This thoroughfare, however, is not Hawksworth's principal road. That would be Town Street, which meets Main Road at a triangular green. Town Street is a dead end, but this is where most of Hawksworth's notable features and landmarks are, oddly enough. Hawksworth lies in a conservation area, and this plaque on a nearby wall tells us it was the 50th such area to be designated in Nottinghamshire. This building is Hawksworth's former school, and it was built in 1844. There's no school in the village today. Most local children go to either Flintham or Aslockton. There's no post office or shop either, but again, there used to be. The old post office and the school have both become private houses now. Approaching the end of the road, there's an old red phone box which stands outside Hawksworth's former Wesleyan chapel, built in 1883. This is also now a private house, but until 1987 it was used as a village hall. Hawksworth Church is now its one and only communal building. Hawksworth Manor House sits at the end of the road with its tall imposing gates facing the street that we've just walked down. The Manor House is Grade 2 listed, as is the pigeon cote within its grounds. The house dates from the mid-17th century, making it the oldest residence in the village. All of Hawksworth's other Grade 2 listed buildings are in or close to Town Street, and they include 2 farms, the old rectory and the church. The latter is where we're going now. On the way back up the street, I spotted this tree, planted to commemorate the Queen's Platinum Jubilee in 2022. So it is sort of strange that Hawksworth Main Street is a dead end, but that's just how it is. All the old facilities used to be on this road leading up towards the manor. Obviously now they're all residential. The schoolhouse, the old post office, the chapel, everything is a house these days. There's nothing here, not really anymore. There is still a church though, and that still is active, I believe. It's on the corner of Town Street. Let's go there next. Hawksworth Church is dedicated to St Mary and All Saints. It's Norman in origin, but as you can probably tell, it was almost completely rebuilt in the 19th century. However, the brick tower is earlier, dating instead from the 17th century. St Mary's and All Saints features an elaborate 12th century Norman tympanum, which marks the founding of the church. During the rebuild, it was moved from its original position above the porch to an exterior face of the tower. The building also features a large portion of a 9th or 10th century cross, suggesting this is all built on some Saxon foundations. From the churchyard, we get a great look at the Grade 2 listed Hawksworth Place. This is the village's former rectory, but it's more notable than that. During World War II, this was known as the Hawksworth Land Army Hostel because it housed a group of around 40 women from the Women's Land Army. It did so until 1952. Out of the churchyard, we next pass a bus stop. Hawksworth is served by the number 856 2 days a week, the same service we've mentioned in previous episodes out here. After the stop, Main Road becomes residential, except for a farm at its northern end. Let's make our way towards that. Hawksworth has had at least one notable resident in its time. In 1814, George Storer, who was a Conservative MP from 1874 until 1885, was born here. We'll meet him again in East Lindsey because he was educated in Louth and married a Horncastle girl. Speaking of notable names, W B Stubbs is a big one here if you know your equestrianism. They were founded as a progress works in 1836 by the local blacksmith. Still operational, W B Stubbs now make a variety of equipment for stables. They're the longest standing firm in the village, which economically is otherwise all about farming. Okay, so once you get beyond that, you've got that house that's behind me right now and another one, and then Hawksworth just comes to an end. That's the end of the village and the end of this video. Another nice, lovely place here in Rushcliffe, very, very, very small. And there's another small one coming at you next week. Let's go there and make that episode, shall we? And that will do us for Hawksworth. The rest of the parish is essentially high-grade arable farmland which was enclosed in 1761. There's definitely a certain farmy feel to this entire area, and the next episode is no different. Next week we'll be in an equally small village, one with a tenuous link to a professional wrestler. See you there. Thanks for watching this video, folks. Don't forget to like this episode if you haven't already. It really makes a difference with YouTube. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel for more videos like this, and give us a share too if you've got friends who'd like it. You can find all the links to my social media accounts below, as well as my Buy Me a Coffee page where you can donate to the channel. Also, if you've enjoyed this episode, have a look at some more videos in this series. Until next time, I've been Andy, also known as the Village Idiot, and I'm out.